Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today I have a weird play from the Weird One. So not the Weird One, the Weird Out. I'm gonna call him Weird. You probably recognize. Oh man, I'm really just hiccupy today. You probably recognize his name. He's been featured on this channel a couple of times. And by the way, guys, if you are trying to send me replays, I am getting them. It's just really weird. Some replays are working for me, some replays aren't. It's really weird. I'm having to put the file into World of Warships in order to get some of them to work. Some that doesn't work if I try opening them outside of World of Warships or with inside of World of Warships. It just seems to be a bit temperamental recently. So, if you sent me a replay that you thought should have been featured on the channel, just try sending it to me again. Maybe something went wrong in the email, or try uploading it to WorldOfWarshipsReplays.com. That's what Weird did. That's how we're able to view his replay right now. And this is me trying to grab the thumbnail for this video. If you're wondering how you do this, you just hit Control, Shift, and Backspace, and it opens up the free cam, and then Control and G to turn your HUD off. That's how I get all these angles for the thumbnails. But anyway, Weird is playing ranked sprints, I assume. Well, I do assume because I know he is. And he is using the Tier 9 Premium Japanese battleship, Musashi. And, well, if you don't know much about the Musashi, well, you're about to learn a little bit. So the Musashi is the Yamato's sister ship. And this is the early World War II version of the Musashi. This is before the literal mountain of AA guns was added to the ship. You can see that on the Yami. And since those guns are not there, well, one, the Musashi doesn't have, well, really any AA compared to other Tier 9 ships. That is some thunder. It is raining outside. I did jump a little bit. I may have peed my pants. I don't think I did, but we're going to keep going. So, since she doesn't have all those AA guns, she barely has any AA. And the ship sits higher in the water. So, the Musashi is slightly easier to citadel than her sister. Plus, the Musashi is not as accurate. She has a lower sigma value than the Yami, but she still is fairly accurate at range. So, and plus, the biggest attraction to about the Musashi is that she still has those 460mm 18.1-inch guns that can do that. Weird just absolutely dunked on that Georgia out there and citadeled it. And also, these 18.1-inch guns can overmatch the bow armor of any ship she encounters. And also, this being at Tier 9 means, well, you can potentially see Tier 7 games and just laugh as you, well, delete your little heart out. So, that's the big appeal to the Musashi. Plus, she's a premium ship, so she does have a better than average credit production rate. So, Weird is doing what most Yami players do. He is sitting back and just sniping. Yami and Musashi players do this. Their ships are definitely some of the best ships in the game to be doing this in. You guys saw already. He already ripped most of that George's health out. Looks like he's trying to get a... Ooh, that's a nice set of dispersion right there. He's trying to get a citadel shot in on that Iowa, who's just sitting mostly broadside toward him. No citadel, but a nice 9,000 damage off of the top. Ooh, that Iowa just took a hit from someone else. He's also supporting this FDG and this Kronstadt on their push through A right now. Keep an eye on that Ibuki. Looks like the Ibuki may be trying to flank around him and get some torpedoes off on him. Donskoy's being a nice little Russian cruiser, staying at almost maximum range. You gotta love the sound of those guns, by the way. My volume is turned up a little bit because he is playing the Musashi, and I love the sound of those guns, those Yami and Musashi gun sounds. Whew, it sounds so good. Alright, so Donskoy got an overpin on him. That George is going around the long way. This Ibuki is only 10 kilometers away from Weird, and looks like he's not slowing down at all as he's coming around the corner of that island, and Weird is rotating his guns around and waiting for... That's another thing about the Musashi and the Yami. The gun rotation speed is about the same speed as a glacier. And there we go, 8 kilometers away, lets the shells fly. Ibuki is probably realizing his mistake, and goodbye, Ibuki. One citadel, one pin, 13,000 damage. Nice shot there. Although the Ibuki does get a bit of revenge and sets a fire on Weird, although he does have a survivability build, so the fire will not burn for all that long. Now this Georgia is being a bit dangerous. He's using his speed, as he should, and flanking around to the side, and it looks like he is chewing on that FDG right now. Now the Georgia, for those of you that don't know, is a very, very fast battleship. She can get up to about 40 knots, 39.7 with the speed flag and her speed boost. Plus she has 457mm guns. She has 18-inch guns. Only 6 of them. They are fairly accurate, but again, she does only have 6 guns, so they do still miss their fair share. And the Georgia is fairly squishy, but she's fast. So if Georgia wanted to close the distance on Weird, he totally could, and there won't be much Weird could do about it. Now, like I said, the Georgia is squishy, so Weird is trying to pin his bow's armor. Let's see, what does that salvo do? Good hit, about 7,000 damage off, especially on the Georgia, who is dancing and maneuvering and trying to keep his bow pointed toward Weird. And this FDG is unfortunately eating shells from the Donskoy and from the Georgia. And, oop, goodbye, FDG. Now it looks like the Georgia is coming for Weird. And again, the ship can go 40 knots, so she can close the distance pretty dang fast. And that is certainly what looks like he is doing. Weird gets a good pin on the Georgia, about 5,000 damage. And I say a good pin for being bow in because he managed to hit him with the Georgia's speed. And Donskoy is working on burning Weird's Musashi. Good thing Weird, it looked like Weird tried to get his 3rd turret on target, but then he decided it'd be better if he just goes bow on to the Georgia, which was a good call. Because the Georgia, although her guns do miss, they're battleship guns, they miss regularly. But when they hit, man, those suckers bite hard. It's like Georgia's still running in on Weird. Georgia, thankfully, is just bouncing all of his shells on Weird's bow armor. That's the thing about Georgia. Although she does have 18-inch guns, they are not 460s, they are 457s. So she cannot overpin the bow of battleships. And much like Weird is trying to do to this Georgia, but I'm suspecting the speed is tripping Weird up. I mean, Georgia is an incredibly fast battleship. Which also means if Georgia decides to ram Weird, there's not a whole lot Weird can do about it. Musashi is not a very maneuverable ship, nor is neither of them are. Georgia is. So it's looking like the Georgia. I thought he switched to HE there for a second. The Georgia is trying to just close the gap on Weird and either get at his sides and citadel him, or outright just ram him. Now the thing is, Weird's over here by himself. He's got someone trying to shoot at the Georgia, but I think it's just I believe it is just a cruiser with some HE. That salvo looked like a battleship dispersed itself. That might be his Iowa trying to give him some supporting fire from across the map. So Georgia now is 3 kilometers away. This is the danger zone now. So Weird's got one shot to pierce through the Georgia's bow armor and citadel him. And, ooh, that dispersion really screwed with it. He did get 9k off of that, but Georgia is now firing at the cruiser that's come to help Weird. And that's a bad sign for Weird because that means Georgia's going to try and ram him. He's trying to do as much damage as he can before he goes down. No point in shooting at Weird when he can damage another cruiser. So now Weird has 9 seconds until his guns are reloaded. He's trying to aim down at the bow, but the thing is, from this close, the aiming reticle just goes freaking crazy. So he's now aiming at his turret. Fire breaks his turret. Georgia's coming for the ram. 4,000 health left on the Georgia. And Georgia turns hard, misses Weird by a hair. Presuming the crew of the Musashi is preparing to board the Georgia to take her. And that 3rd turret's coming around. And ooh, Weird managed to get it to go off. Whew. That was pretty close because Weird just hit the Georgia. It's highly likely that Georgia was still alive. He would have been able to maneuver himself into Weird's stern, or maybe even get around to his other side if he had a heel left, pop that, and then citadel Weird from the side. That was very, very nicely done. Looks like Weird's maneuvering through the Georgia off enough, but the Georgia slipped up and turned too hard. Now, what was especially thrilling for me was that 3rd turret. Those of you that play Warships know the turrets will not fire until that reticle turns green. The problem is when ships get that close, especially battleships, the aiming reticle is just all sorts of screwy at that range. So he managed. I suspect he was just smacking the crap out of left mouse, but he managed to get his third turret to go off and into the superstructure of the Georgia, and that was enough to finish him off. So nicely done there, Weird. So now Weird has this Musashi that looks like this Musashi is just stern tanking the friendly Iowa who's pushing up on him. And all this Musashi is doing, he's just tanking and just trying to get as much damage in as he can before the game ends, because this is ranked. The ship on the losing team who does the most damage in the game doesn't lose a star, so this Musashi isn't very interested in anything else besides just farming damage off of the friendly Iowa. And I mean, that's what he's doing, so he's not paying attention to Weird, who has a perfect shot at this Musashi's broadside. He's just got to get the Musashi gunners to cooperate. Now that was a bit disappointing, only 2,600 damage there. And looks like that Iowa's pushing in on him. I mean, Weird's team clearly has this in the bag. They're at 930 points, and they have only lost 2 ships. Weird is aiming for that sweet spot just by the front 2 turrets. There go the shells. And let's see what this does. Good night, Musashi. 29,000 damage, high caliber, and that is Weird's 3rd kill for this game. So Weird's going to finish this game with 134,000 damage done. He's telling thank you to his teammates that supported him. Oh, it was a Kronstadt that was supporting him when that George was pushing in on him. 134,000 damage done. Number 1 on his team. A very, very, very lovely ranked sprint game there, Weird. Nicely done. Alright guys, so if you have a replay, make sure you send it in. If you did send in a replay and you really wanted it to be featured, and I may have just had trouble trying to get to play, just resend it to me. I'll see if I can get it to work again. Because I am, back to work, back to school. So I am really busy, so if you have any really exciting or interesting replays, please send them in. There's a good chance they will get featured on the channel. So anyway guys, hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.